Hi guys, I'm Dr. Tara Tobias. I want to welcome you all back to this channel. In today's home exercise tutorial, we are going to go over abnormal movement coupling, or a lot of times I refer to this as the inability to dissociate. So the inability to have regions of the body or sections of the body be able to move independent of the rest of the body. That's the ability to dissociate. And I bring it up a lot when I'm explaining the rationale behind an exercise or an activity that I might have included in a progression to other movement problems. I've really never done an entire video on the progression or a series of activities that you can do to relearn this ability to dissociate or relearn how to have segments of the body move independent of other segments. So that's what we're going to be going over today. If you're new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload new videos. And now let's go ahead and dive into the content of this video. So as I mentioned, dissociation is that ability of segments of the body to be able to move independent of each other. What that means is the right side should be able to move independent of the left side, and the upper body should be able to move independent of the lower body. Some signs or some things that you might be seeing that might suggest you have lost that ability is one problem that bothers a lot of people and comes up a lot in the comments is that your arm always flexes up every time you walk. There's other reasons why that happens, and this type of a movement problem does not exist in a vacuum. There's usually other things that are going on, such as spasticity or abnormal synergy patterns, which I've done whole videos on, and I will put links for those videos in the description below. But in addition to spasticity and abnormal movement patterns, another reason why that arm might drop is because you've lost that ability to dissociate. So the upper body and the lower body have lost that ability to move independent of each other. So you go to lift your involved leg and the involved arm kind of comes along for the ride. That would be that abnormal movement coupling. And another thing that comes up in the comments a lot is that when you are trying to do exercises on your involved side, your uninvolved side starts to get sore. Now again, this does not exist in a vacuum. There could be other reasons why your uninvolved side has pain when you're trying to work your involved side, but one reason is that you can't dissociate one side of your body from the other. So one side can't work independent of the other, and even though it might not be a visible movement on your uninvolved side, there could be some muscles that are overactive on that uninvolved side when you're trying to do stuff with your involved side because movements have coupled together. So that is why it's confusing for a lot of people. You're working your involved side and your uninvolved side's getting sore. So that could be movement coupling. Another thing that I've seen that also might suggest that you've lost this ability to dissociate is you start doing stuff with your arm, or you're trying to adjust your position in your chair and your involved leg just shoots out on you. So what could be happening is because you're using your uninvolved leg to adjust your position and the legs have kind of coupled together, or the movement has coupled together, your involved leg wants to extend as well, because when you are pushing with your uninvolved leg to make that adjustment in your chair, you are extending that leg. It's just not to the degree that you might see that involved leg like shoot out. But one reason that leg could be shooting out could be that the two legs cannot work independent of each other. Now again, I've also brought that up when it comes to abnormal synergy patterns and with spasticity. And again, those are two reasons as well that could happen. But one other reason is that you cannot dissociate. Another thing I've seen a lot is that when you're trying to do stuff with your involved arm and you're sitting in a chair, your involved leg kind of flexes up and rolls out to the side. Now, that could be an abnormal movement pattern, but it could also be that inability to dissociate your upper body from your lower body. You're doing something with your arm and your leg is kind of doing the same exact movement. Now, in standing, where I've seen this is when you are trying to step your involved leg forward or lift that involved leg up, your uninvolved leg buckles. And now that seems odd because your uninvolved leg is your strong leg and doesn't seem to really have any weakness. So if it does buckle when you try and lift your other leg up, and you're pretty sure that your uninvolved leg has full strength, that could be that you cannot dissociate your right and your left leg. So when you go to lift your involved leg up, the left leg more or less lifts up as well, which will result in the knee buckling or bending. So if you can visualize that you're bending your involved leg to lift it, and so that uninvolved leg is bending, which is causing you to collapse on that side. And then vice versa. Let's say you have adequate strength in your involved leg. However, every time you go to lift that uninvolved leg up, it seems to buckle. Again, could be other reasons for that. Abnormal synergy patterns could be responsible for that, but that could also be that you can't dissociate those legs, and therefore you're lifting your uninvolved leg, so you're bending that knee and bending that hip. The involved leg is going to bend as well. So now what do you do about it? So I'm going to kind of give you my thought process or my rationale on how I build the activities or how I arrange the progressions, so that really you can think outside the box and maybe come up with your own activities and apply some of these principles. So as I've mentioned in other videos, I always like to start laying down, then sitting, then standing. So that would be one way I would progress the activities, is to change your positions, laying down being the easiest, standing being the most challenging. Then the other way I progress these activities is start by just blocking or immobilizing, however you need to, the non-working side. So basically you're trying to get movement or isolate movement in one part of the body and block everything else to kind of quiet those brain areas down a little bit. So physically blocking them will help to kind of quiet those motor areas down. So some things I like to do that you've seen in other videos are either to put an elbow immobilizer on the arm when you're doing leg activities to dissociate the upper body from the lower body. Sometimes when someone's laying down, I'll put sandbags on the non-working extremities. So if we're doing leg activity on the involved leg, then I'll just put sandbags on the uninvolved leg to kind of separate it out, quiet the leg down that we don't want moving. So anything like that where you can quiet everything else down and then just focus on one body segment. And I would stay at this level until you no longer feel the non-moving body parts trying to fight against whatever you've used to block it, whatever tool you've used to block that extremity. And then the next step in the progression would be to take that tool off, keep isolating the working extremity. So keep doing the same movement you did when it was blocked, only now the goal would be that it just stays quiet on its own without having anything kind of blocking it. And then once you can do that, the final progression with any movement where you're seeing this is to actually have both sides of the body or have multiple segments moving at the same time, doing opposite motions. So that would be how I would layer the levels of difficulty whenever I'm selecting an exercise. And yes, it may seem like you're doing 1,000 reps on one movement, but that is what it takes. Remember, you are retraining the brain. So you want quality movement. And if that includes using tools or splints or anything to get that quality movement, then that's what you do. So now the fun part, and the part that a lot of you guys say I don't spend enough time on in the videos of showing these activities. The first group we're gonna do are gonna be all laying down, and I'm gonna go through the different progressions. So initially, if we were gonna do leg exercises, and I pretty much start everyone here, whenever I am retraining a movement, I pretty much wanna start with just isolating that one movement or that one body segment. So whether or not I think someone has a problem dissociating or not, I will automatically try and block as many extremities as possible. So bridging, single leg bridging, marching. Sometimes I put the core max under the feet, and I've showed that in videos laying down. So I'll do that. And while I'm doing all these leg activities, I will block the arms in extension so that they're not drawing up when we're focused on the legs. Sometimes I'll have someone hold actively the arms in one static position, just kind of taking it to that next level. And really just the sky is the limit with what you could come up on. But since I've kind of explained the rationale behind how I select the activities, there's probably a ton more that you guys will come up with on your own, and you usually do, and you usually leave them in the comments, and I love that. I think it's great. It gives other people in this community some more ideas of things that they can try and do at home. So again, just to reiterate, the first group, the starting point is quieting everything else down, isolating one body segment, and trying to perform quality movement on that one segment over and over and over again. And then again, to take some of those to the next level, maybe hold the same positions, just start removing tools. So start removing things that are holding things in place, and just keep those body segments quiet. And then to progress from there, it would be to move multiple body segments at the same time, but doing opposite movements. So you guys are getting a rare glimpse of catching me in editing mode, and as I was sitting here editing this video, I still have probably about 10 or 15 exercises that are included in this progression, and I realized that this video is getting a little bit long. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know I like to keep things in little chunks just to kind of allow you guys to process some of the exercises before moving on to the next progression. So I've changed it up a little bit. I'm gonna end the video here with the exercises that I've given on dissociation. But again, I still have several more exercises to go through. So that change of plan is gonna turn what was anticipated to be a one video tutorial on dissociation is now going to be a two-part tutorial. So look forward to that next week, where I'm going to go through some other positions that you can practice dissociating or uncoupling movements, or another way to put it is isolating different body segments. In addition to that, I'm going to go through some pre-gait activities, which are basically some standing balance activities that have components of gait or components of walking that eventually you'll be able to put all together. And hopefully this will help you smooth out your walking, help you climb up and down stairs, and a variety of activities where you do really need to be able to separate, again, the left side from the right side and the upper body from the lower body. But before we end today, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I upload new videos. As usual, if you haven't signed up for my newsletter yet, the link for that is in the description below. I encourage you to do that, which really just gives you and me an opportunity to connect throughout the week. If you haven't checked out my new website yet, go ahead and check that out, which is a free resource for all of you to find exercises, tips, tricks, product reviews, and a variety of other things to just help enhance your home exercise program. Again, look forward to next week where I am going to have part 2 in this progression. And that is it for this video. I enjoyed spending time with you all today. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.